Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my December bullet journal setup. To start out, I'm cutting the inside of these two labels. I feel like I use some sort of variation of these labels in just about every setup, but it's mainly because they're just like the perfect backdrop for any kind of stationery. I also feel like I use some sort of variation of this script washi tape, if not this exact script washi tape, in just about every setup, but it just looks so pretty on the page. Also, I did want to mention that I get a lot of questions about the cutting tool that I used for cutting out those labels. I have it listed in my Amazon storefront, which is linked down below. So I know I've said in some of my past videos that I don't really do a theme for my monthly setups anymore, but I wanted this particular setup to be as pretty as possible without taking up a whole lot of time. So I went through my Paper Minty Studio stash and found this kit from last winter that I only used a few stickers from and decided it would be absolutely perfect for this month. I intentionally didn't want to do a Christmas theme because I already did my Christmas planner and I wanted to save a lot of my Christmas stationery for my daily pages. There are some Christmassy stickers in this kit, but I didn't end up using them in this setup because I wanted to save them for my daily pages. The floral washi tapes as well as the gingham washi tape are from Paper Minty Studio as well. I did struggle a little bit with the placement of some of these elements because normally I would put the girl sticker down and then just decorate the whole rest of the page with butterflies. But I was trying to stick with the wintry theme, so obviously I can't have butterflies all over, unfortunately. So I did fiddle around with these stickers quite a bit, but I think I really like the way it turned out in the end. I think it was a really good call going with this kit because honestly, this is probably one of the shortest setups I think I've ever had. Normally, it takes me anywhere from like 4 to 7 hours to do these videos, but this video only took me 2.5 hours, which might seem like a long time, but in reality, that's really not very long. So these stickers definitely helped me out. I love these kits from her. I really wish that they were more readily available. Unfortunately, I don't think that it is available on her website. I know that she's adding and subtracting a lot of things on a regular basis, so I will link her shop down below, but I'm really sorry if for some reason it's not available. This is just something I had in my stash, and like I said in my last video, I'm just trying to use up the stuff that I have because I really like the stuff that I have, so I don't want it to go to waste. Okay, so what I've done for my header is I've taken just a brown paper bag that I think I might have gotten some stationery from. I can't remember where I got it from. It was just something I decided to keep because I liked the paper. So I've taken a brown paper bag and I've stamped out December. And the reason it's on here twice is because I started stamping it in black, but honestly, it was just really harsh. The colors on these stickers are very muted. They're more like grays and tans. So I decided to switch it up to this more like chocolate brown color, and I really like the way that it looks. It looks a lot better, I think. I've stamped out December and currently, and on the left-hand side, that's where I'll write in any of the current things that I'm reading, watching, listening to, how I'm currently feeling, and some of the things I'm currently loving, like anything different outside of reading, watching, and listening to. There were so many sparkle stickers on all of these sheets, so of course I went a little bit overboard with all of the little sparkles. They kind of felt like in between sparkles and snowflakes, so I just added a ton of them all over the page. And then I went in and added little circles everywhere to make it look more like snow. It does not snow where I live, so I am living vicariously through my bullet journal. It felt a little bit like something was missing on those little headers that I created. So I ended up adding an outline to them and it was just absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to come in and write reading, watching, listening, feeling, and loving. And then that will call my cover page done. I really do love the way that this theme turned out. At first, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's a little more muted than what I'm used to. Usually in December, it's like tons of red, tons of bright greens, but this setup is very, very muted. But honestly, I really love the way that it turned out. I'm a little bit surprised at how much I like it. All right, so now we're moving on to my calendar spread, and this is the same as it always is. I will say, okay, so I know that I talked about this a little bit in my November setup, but honestly, I am kind of struggling with what to choose for my next bullet journal. I love these spreads, don't get me wrong, and I love this notebook. I really, really do. But honestly, I think it's the size, maybe. It feels like the exact same thing every single month. And I'm just kind of in this little, I don't want to say creative rut, but honestly, like I do the exact same thing every month. And it feels very repetitive, and it feels like my creativity is a little bit stalled. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like maybe I need to either go bigger or smaller, just to kind of get that little push, if that makes sense. I feel like at this point I'm just kind of rambling. But anyways, this calendar spread, along with all of the other spreads, are pretty much the same that I do every single month, with a little collage in the corner. And I like it, don't get me wrong. I really, really like it, which is why I do it every single month. But also, I feel like maybe I need to kind of come out of my comfort zone a little bit next year. When I started using these notebooks in particular, I feel like my creativity was sparked again. Once I got out of using the like 160 GSM notebooks, I felt like I couldn't use the same kind of products that I've always used. So it kind of got those creative juices flowing in a different sort of way, which I really enjoyed. And I've loved it this last like year and a half, to almost 2 years that I've used these notebooks. And I've really enjoyed it, but maybe it's the size or something. I don't know. I feel like I need to kind of branch out a little bit and try to come up with some different spreads, some different ideas. I feel like I'm kind of in a little bit of a rut. I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again every single month. So we just kind of sped right through that. Sorry, that was my calendar spread. And now we've moved on to my habit and mood spread. And this, again, it's the exact same thing that I always do. I did change up the titles a little bit just to kind of give me something new. But sometimes, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And this kind of layout works really well for me as far as like tracking my habits and my moods. I really like having the calendar set up for my moods, especially. The habits, I feel like, I don't know, I list the same habits every single month, so I don't know that it's actually working. But I do like tracking my mood this way because there's so many different moods that it's not like, I used to do a lot of color it in with this color for this particular mood, and it was more of like a generalized thing, and it wasn't necessarily tracking anything. It was just kind of like, yeah, Tracy was happy this day, or Tracy was not feeling it this day. That's kind of how it used to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. It worked great for me for a while, and I loved the creativity behind it, but I think I actually really like having the calendar aspect so I can see how many days in a month that I was happy, how many days in a month was I super productive, how many days was I really tired to the point where I had to actually write it on here that I was so tired. You know, I'm not real sure how to change this spread up, but also keep tracking it in the same manner. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. You guys are always a wealth of knowledge and have some of the greatest ideas. So I would love to know any ideas that you guys have for me. Speaking of all of your wonderful ideas, you guys really came through for me last month on my question about other bullet journaler YouTubers. Man, I really am completely out of the loop when it comes to them because you guys, there's a list that I created in that description box. If you are ever questioning any ideas that you might need for your next bullet journal theme, I listed out all of the bullet journal YouTubers that you guys gave me. And it's going to stay in that description box so that we all always have somewhere to go to reference some of these super creative people. And there's a ton that I had never even heard of. So you guys really came through for me on that one. So now we're moving on to my cleaning spread, and it's set up the same way that I normally do it. Actually, I think last month I might have done it a little bit differently. I think I did it more of like a list format, but the list format just does not work for me. I have to have it set up by day. Otherwise, I feel completely lost. I don't know why. I know I don't ever get it done on that particular day, but for some reason, the list format does not work for me. It needs to be sectioned out by day. So I went back to the tried and true Monday through Friday, weekend, once, twice, that kind of thing. And we'll see. It's December. I will probably only do about half of this because only about half of it is like necessities. The rest of it is like, ooh, if you've got time. So anyways, for the actual setup of this spread, I section everything out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I set it up for the weekend because I don't do a whole lot of like deep cleaning on the weekends. I do that during the week mostly. And then I have it set up to where I've got things that I want to do once, things that I want to do twice. And then for the decoration, I just did the same thing I've been doing where I used a couple strips of washi tape, and I did use a like stamp PET tape that I got from Notebook Therapy a really long time ago. I don't know if it will be available. It just looked a little on the Christmassy side, but also a little bit not. So I really wanted to use it, and I thought it looked really cute next to this chair. I loved that chair. I thought it was absolutely perfect for this page. Okay, so if you're paying attention, you can see that the ink that I used for the lettering on those stamps bled through pretty bad. That's the one thing that I don't like about this paper is that stamping inks, like pens don't really bleed through, but stamping inks, if it's not the exact kind of stamping ink, then it will bleed through. And my brown chalk ink that I normally use is completely out. So I ended up using my old Archival ink and it bled right through. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, at this point, I was like, I'm just going to burn it. I'm just going to throw my bullet journal into the fire. I'm done. I was so upset because I did not want it to show through. On the habit and mood tracker, it didn't really bother me much because there wasn't a whole lot of like writing that I was going to do. It was mainly like a tracker spread, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. But the following page is my gratitude spread. And you guys know my gratitude spread is like my favorite spread to set up every single day. So I was so mad. Like, oh, I was so mad. And then, of course, the whole spread for some reason didn't record right. So I just kind of flew right through it, which is a good thing because I was so mad that I didn't even want to talk about it. So my fix was I just took a page from the back of the book and I just covered the whole page up. This paper is thin enough to where it really didn't matter. You can't even tell because it is so thin. So it's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, at the time, it really, really made me mad. I was not happy. That's the one downfall. And to be honest, at this point, this is where all of the 2025 questioning my life things came in. And I was like, do I want to go back to the 160 GSM notebooks? Do I want to stick with these Tomoe River Paper notebooks? I don't know. I love these notebooks so much for the page count, but also I really want to be able to use all of my stationery, not just some of it. So now that all of that rambling is done, I apologize that you guys had to witness that. But now that all of that's done, we've moved on to my bills and my notes spread, and I completely glossed over the whole thing because, again, it's basically the same thing that I always do. All right, so that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for listening to my rambling this month. I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.